Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. This time a little bit different than things I normally do. I haven't really done a market watch on the channel, I don't think, but that's okay. We're gonna do a new type of video today, and I think it's really interesting to look at. This is actually being recorded on Sunday night, so this morning, it's being released on Monday, obviously, but this Sunday morning, the prices on TCG Player went out for the World Martial Arts Tournament Power Boosters. Now, if you guys don't know, real quickly, the World Martial Arts Power Booster was released on Friday for the first set of tournaments. So those are being held, I believe, all of this past weekend that just took place, and I think maybe the next 2 or 3 weekends. I think they usually do it over the span of like a month or so. So you still do have your shot to get these, and more we're going to go into circulation. So ideally, the price is going to drop down. We're also leading up to a pretty big event, being the ARG Invitational 2019. So that's also another reason why these things are so highly spiked. But we're basically talking about the values of the card, how I think they're going to influx, how I think they're going to change, why I think they're so high right now. And it's kind of interesting to me to see how this works, because it is kind of like its own little economy, right? And long story short, card gaming economies do teach you a little thing or two about the real world economy. It's kind of interesting. You make investments and things like that, but we're not going to go too far into that. So before we get into the video, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with awesome Dragon Ball Super content that I post here. If you're looking for a Dragon Ball Super community, got the Discord in the description below. Excellent group of people. And finally, guys, if you're longtime fans of the channel, want to get prepped for the ARG Invitational, check out the Patreon description below. Lots of competitive content there covering stuff you need to know for the Invitational. So that being said, we're going to hop right into this. So we've got Mutaito, Skill of a Sage, also known as Mafuba Man, which is what my teammate Jack calls him. He's sitting at about $30 per copy right now. So this is at Sunday night looking at these prices. And actually, I've noticed the price change on a lot of these cards since even this morning. So the price has dipped on pretty much all these cards. Like this morning I saw Mutaito about $40. So if we scroll down now, we got the lowest price for near mint at $30. If we keep scrolling down, we keep seeing the price increase by $5, by $10, even up to $45 at the highest price. And yeah, I think it did start early this morning at $40 per copy, because again, it is release weekend, and that's always gonna happen with Dragon Ball cards and cards in general, is that the release weekend things are always gonna be spiked in price. Like if we remember things from like set 6 being released, things were way up in price, and now a lot of things have settled. Now kind of just like your SPRs are settling at a nice price. You have your certain common, uncommon foils sitting at a nice price. But Mutaito is definitely the chase card from this WMAT Power Booster. I mean, just the power in it being a counterplay that gets you on deflect in terms of things like height and mastery, like Gogeta 7. This is definitely the chase card from the set, sitting at $30. And to be honest with you, as weird as it sounds, I think that's kind of a good sign, because I do think as time goes on, and especially after the ARG Invitational, when things are a little less quote-unquote in demand, where people are not chasing cards as hard because, the biggest event of the year is about to pass up, I think the price is going to continue to fall. I think even going into Monday, like, at the release of this video, I think we might see some decrease. This might even drop down to like maybe 25, but I don't think it'll go too much lower than 25 per copy, because this is definitely, like I said, a chase card going into the Invitational. Victory Strike Broly and Victory Strike U7 are basically 2 of the scariest decks in the format, maybe next to Janemba, but even Janemba has been getting answered the past few weeks. So I do think that this $30 price mark is probably fair going into this event. And it's kind of interesting, a lot of times I see in the community, people are very unhappy when things cost a lot of money. Like, looking at Victory Strike, I agree with that. I don't own the card because of its price point, but I'm not super upset about it. I think it's okay. It's not a card I typically want to play anyway. But basically my point is, I think it's okay when cards do have value. Like, I really like that I can enter a WMAT Power Booster for $20. Get my 2 Power Booster packs, get my 6 WMAT packs, which the WMAT packs are probably not going to pull much value, if any, but the Power Booster is straight plus, right? So if you want to enter this event, if you want to go get the cards you need, maybe you pull Mutaito, maybe you need it, but maybe you pull some of the other cards like Videl or Dende, and you don't need them, you want to flip them and make basically a profit back on your investment, I think that's totally cool and totally fine. And then I think as time goes on, definitely these are going to drop in price. But I do think it's cool when there's a reason to go to events, whether it's monetary or just cards you need. I think those are 2 good reasons to go to events. It does kind of suck for people that do want to play these decks, but if you wait a little while, I do think everything's going to kind of taper off. So we're going to look at the next 3 cards, which are basically kind of staples in the Oob deck. Which first we have Videl, Proudest Mother, sitting at about $20, and this earlier today was also more expensive. I checked this earlier today, and it was sitting around the $28 price range. And now, actually, right before doing this video, checking, I was surprised to see that it already dropped to 20. So even just in the span of a few hours, we've already seen a drop in price, because, I guess maybe it's a little bit of impatience maybe by the sellers, but it doesn't look like that they're selling, at $30 per copy, especially for Videl. I do think that Mutaito is the #1 chase card, but I do think out of the most meta relevant decks that people want to build, I think that Oob is the #1 contender for that spot, and Oob actually has 3 cards that you basically need to build a deck. So looking at Videl, we'll move over to Dende, and this is actually a card that before I went and looked at these copies myself, and I'm actually incredibly surprised it's down to $15 per copy. This almost feels worth it to get it right now, add it to my cart right now. But this morning when I heard that the TCG player prices were out, I heard that Dende was at $4 per copy. Now, I didn't go check that right away, but I did check later in the day. I saw it at $20 per copy, and right now it's looking at the lowest one sitting at $16 per copy if you include shipping. So we're going to scroll down a little bit. I want to see what's happening here. So Dende, we're seeing a crazy price range from the lowest one being $15, and the next jump is $5 higher. So only one set of 4 being sold at $15 per copy. And I think this person might be banking on the fact that it'll probably drop to about $15, $10 per copy. Because if you do go to these events, these power boosters, a lot of stores are getting a ton of power booster packs. So like they're gonna have a lot of extras kind of just laying over, and that happens at my locals all the time. So I think maybe undercutting at $15 per copy is probably a smart move, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, if we scroll down, we have, you know, $20, $25, jumping up by 5s, and then we do have the highest one right now sitting at $35 per copy. So it does look like what I heard earlier was true. It probably was sitting around $40 per copy. Maybe the $40 one got edited down to one of these 30s or 20s. But right now, if you want to build the Oob deck, it's pretty expensive. You're looking at 15 times 4 here. You're looking at 20 times 4 here if you want to build this basically right before AC. And we also have Vegeta Jr. Heroic Successor, which is another staple in the Oob deck. So sitting around another $15 per copy, another high staple. This one only reaches as high as 20 because this is, I guess, quote unquote, the lesser needed staple. But what's really interesting is, you know, these are all very meta relevant cards. People know that Oob is going to be very strong coming out of the power booster. Mutaito is an obvious counter to one of the most powerful decks in the format. Now, if we come over and look at something like Son Goku Savage Great Ape, which is definitely not one of the cards on most people's radar, in my opinion. However, I do think that this card is absolutely necessary if you want to be playing Jackie Chun in pure yellow, because, you know, you have the access to that Unyielding Victory Goku Chun combo, right? So this card is a crazy enabler because it basically does the play for super cheap energy, so you can keep making plays on the rest of the turn. But this card is sitting right now at $14 per copy, which is absolutely insane because realistically, like I said, it's not super meta relevant. We're gonna look at a few more cards in a second, but looking down here, we see that it's settling around 14 right now at the time of recording, which again is Sunday night. And now we go down $14 per copy and down all the way to $19 per copy on this Son Goku Savage Great Ape, which again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Jackie Chun is on too many people's radars for this event coming up in AC, but nonetheless, it is a key piece of the deck. So again, and I think it's okay that something like this maybe is $10 per copy. Like even where the Unyielding Goku and Unyielding Jackie Chun are literally quarters, 50 cents a piece for the non-SPR versions. If you want to play SPRs, I think they're about $5 a copy. Where the deck is literally so dirt cheap that you can probably build a deck for about $20 minus the power booster stuff. I think it's okay where there's a little bit of value in the market. But with that being said, I do think this power booster is going to drop to about $5 probably, maybe even lower. But yeah, most power boosters sit around $5 no matter what the meta relevance is. So I do think this will definitely drop off. Now looking at another interesting one, I'm number 1. This is one of my favorite cards in the power booster in general, but it's sitting about $6. And I think it's actually pretty hard to play this card because most WMAT decks can't efficiently play this card. It's like the only ones that you can do it with would be maybe Hercule if you're playing some type of red build, but that really isn't as good because you're not taking advantage of what Hercule can do naturally. So really the only thing I can see this fitting in is some red-ish version of Announcer where you're playing the Tiny Rivals packages and, you know, red super combos, things like that. But this card for me feels very unplayable competitively, and it's still sitting around $6. Now we take a look down real quick, we see that it was only at $8 of a high. So this might even drop to like a $2 card. You know, if people just aren't picking it up, people aren't buying it, it's going to go down in demand. It's going to go down in price if there's plenty of supply. And I do think there'll be plenty of supply because, like I said, from what I've seen at locals, it feels like there's been a lot of just influx of these power booster packs in general. Now, if we come over to Hercule World Tournament King, I really think this is like one of the worst cards in the whole power booster, to be quite honest. I don't think that getting the field spell from your deck is really that worth it, but I digress. People will disagree with that. That's fine. This is sitting at about $5 per copy right now, just to put some perspective on it. Now we scroll down. It looks like it really didn't start too much higher than $5 in general. It looks like it only started at $7 for one copy. So kind of an interesting look at all the power boosters. Now, even the non-meta relevant cards are still kind of up there, but looking at the meta relevant cards like Dende, Videl, and Mutaito, they are pretty expensive. You know, $30 a copy, $20 a copy, and $15 a copy. But what's really interesting to me to sum up is that these started at such higher price points earlier in the day, and now they're tapering off. I can only imagine how they're going to drop throughout the week. I think they'll find a comfortable spot at about the $15-$20 ranges. Mutaito, I probably expect to stay at 30, maybe 25, just because of AC. But once AC falls off, I expect these cards to continue to drop even further. So if you're looking to build your WMAT decks, I think you just wait until after AC. If you're not planning on playing any of these for AC, I think you'll be pretty much okay. Let me know what you guys think about the WMAT Power Booster below. Let me know what you guys think about this market watch video. Do you guys like it? Do you guys find it interesting? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Joey. This is Crosswell TCG, and I'll see you guys at AC.
What's up, Dragon Ballers? Danny Win here. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Yo, what am I doing? Yo, you don't pay me enough for this.
Word? I don't pay you at all.